It is still possible.
It's interesting. I'm always interested to see if teams go for a pick style. It's not something that is run a lot here on Shrines, but to try to find the kills before the 5v5 team fights evolve, you find your variant comps, even stuff like Diablo can get the job done, versus something of a zone control that we tend to see in terms of just controlling the space, using stuff like Diva and Hogger to just really own the Shrine.
It would probably be more likely, so we see Zul'Vayne first. I suppose is a strong Shrine clear. Might also be like a target. Yeah, it might be targeted pick as possible. You don't see Zul banned a lot. You don't see Zul banned a lot in the beginning, so probably I would assume it's a target pick. You see the Chromie on the other hand, you know, everyone bans that.
Yeah, Chromie able to just do everything and do such damage from a distance is very good on Infernal Shrines. And putting those forward time traps to control space and control vision can be very, very impactful on certain shrines.
Yeah, and she just controls the space so well on Infernal. Like, I think people think like she doesn't clear it well. She's not that great, but no, like she's one of the zone control heroes where you zone everyone else off the shrine and you clear it. You see the Joe ban here, solid tank pick, always good, pretty much. Really good, pretty good on his map too. Sonya,
yeah, Sonya makes sense, especially from the second ban position.
Diva, Garrosh for okay. I'm waiting for this. I'm assuming neither of these teams play Diva.
It is open. It is, you know, a pretty good shrine control tool. The bomb being able to claim usually 8 to 10 minions for free and push everyone off the shrine. Garrosh first pick is not something I've seen in quite a long time. That must be a big, big comfort here for Huge Slot.
It kind of surprises me. I feel like Garrosh. Okay, we see the ETC Kale. Okay, Kale's going to provide a lot of clear. ETC, I guess, is more of a defensive tank.
Yeah,
maybe
ETC a little bit more of a classic counter to Garrosh, with the bump back, with the be able to slide back through when tossed. It'll really depend on what the follow-up is around Garrosh, because ETC isn't exactly the most hardy tank either.
Yeah, the issue that you run into in ETC versus Garrosh is how well the Garrosh can time his Indomitable, because he can walk up, and then if the ETC doesn't have all of his cooldowns or doesn't anticipate it well, like the Garrosh can just Indomitable and throw him, and then he dies. Probably because ETC is pretty squishy.
It is a big it's a wait out matchup. Who's going to use their utility first?
Yeah, it's a skill matchup. It's that's kind of how it is. It's always how it's been. That's an interesting ban, because
I can understand where the Li Ming ban is coming from, because you're committing into Garrosh Uther, which means you're probably not going for the zone control on the shrines. You're going for picks.
I mean, you have Tychus.
Li Ming can really work there.
Tychus is really strong on the shrine, so it's not just like blow him up. It's like Tychus is really good on the shrine, so they could still go with other solid picks here. The Diva's still up. Like if they grab the Tychus Diva, like that would be insane shrine control. Shrine clear, I should say.
I'm interested to see whether we're going to see a trade on the Diva Hogger in the later picks, because they both seem to be trying to wait out this off-lane pick. As we see ReGen Phoenix considering their next two, Ando and Junkrat here. Junkrat can fill a pretty similar role to Chromie in terms of that long-range control.
Yeah, he doesn't do as much damage, but probably more control. Okay, there's Hogger.
It's going to be the Hogger coming on out, and Tassadar here for Fulurami, I'm going to go with.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense, because I've been told, well, obviously everyone knows that Tychus is kind of like the one of the counters to Hogger. The Uther apparently is a counter too, because Uther has a fast enough point-and-click stun to stop Hogger's Hog Wild from activating.
There is a small window there, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so they took all those to grab the Hogger. So
Malthael can do some pretty reliable damage to Hogger, especially in the 1v1, so that's going to be a cool matchup to watch there.
The problem is, I don't think there's enough damage on the side of the red team to the right side for them to kill Hogger. Like, that's actually what it's not enough targeted damage, in my opinion. The Malthael is kind of the only one. Maybe Junkrat can a little bit. Because I think people underestimate Junkrat's auto attack damage a little bit, but we'll have to see.
It's an interesting setup here. It looked like ReGen Phoenix went into a pretty anti-Garrosh composition. Like, between the Anduin for the saves, Junkrat and Kael'thas both have ways to get away from Garrosh, etc. Even Malthael can blink back through. So they've invested very heavily into not allowing the Garrosh to do what they want. But do they actually have the ability to get onto the shrine now against this Hogger and Tychus?
We'll have to see.
Loading on in here to game number 1 on the left in the blue. It is Dark Allegiance with huge slot on the Garrosh. USA Mafia is on the Uther. Voisin 4 on the Tychus. Fulurami on the Tassadar. And Tops on the Hogger.
And on the right side, the red team, we have ReGen...
10 seconds.
Sorry, what was it? This is ReGen.
ReGen Phoenix.
ReGen Phoenix. Arrow on Malthael, Rabid Penguin on Kael'thas, Mudge on ETC, Darabrow on Junkrat, and Maria on Anduin. My initial thought is,
yeah.
I think I favor Dark Allegiance a little bit on this, because I think they just have ridiculous clear on the shrine. That's my opinion.
Their shrine clear and presence does look a little bit stronger. We'll have to see whether they can have the same... Oh, Malthael getting to be thrown in, stunned out by Uther, but able to move on back with that Reaper's Mark is Arrow. And now it's Garrosh in a little bit of trouble, having to move away there. And that's really going to be the back and forth. If Dark Allegiance can find the kill on those picks, they're going to be in great shape. But when they don't get it, they don't have a lot to follow up with.
So, like I said, I truly believe that I think that they don't have to worry about getting picked so much.
So we see Garrosh gets caught out there, Rabid Penguin throwing out the damage. Tychus actually getting pushed out there a little bit by Daribo. ReGen Phoenix has done a good job so far of not allowing Garrosh to find these picks. But Huge Slot is really just interrupting these rotations very, very well. Uh-oh, maybe moved out a little bit too far there. Able to heal up off the W, but look at the body blocks from Mudge. Very nicely done. First Blood's going to go over to ReGen Phoenix.
Got caught out there a little bit. It looks like he made a kind of unsafe rotation there without the rest of his team.
Garrosh is pretty survivable in the early game, but not, not enough to get away with just standing in front of four members of the enemy team.
The issue is he's not a great, like, war tank like that. He doesn't have a lot of mobility. So, into the Junkrat. They have a lot of CC on the side. Both teams have a lot of CC. But actually, ReGen has a lot of...
a little more short range, I think, over on the side of Dark Allegiance.
Yeah, they don't have
can throw the stun out. Junkrat can throw the reposition out. Anduin's root is at range.
Yeah, I think the CC is a little bit stronger on the side of ReGen, so...
Garrosh is poking in here, threatening to move up. Mudge is saying, feel free. Garrosh actually throws ETC over the wall there, but a great stun is going to keep Dark Allegiance off this point and force Garrosh to start moving back. That was a pretty cheeky play there onto Mudge. Nice job. Uh-oh, Slide is there, and the root follow-up, and Uther may have just a toe out of position. Is going to go down there. I really like the layering and the follow-up we're seeing here from ReGen Phoenix.
Yeah, they're definitely converting a lot of the, mispositioning.
Interesting battle here on the top left. Hogger versus Malthael. Tops is trying to get away, but Arrow with the W is going to be enough, actually, to take out Hogger, but here comes the rest of the crew with a save from Arya. He's going to put Arrow back into safe territory. I did not expect Malthael to make it out of there.
I didn't either, but Anduin, I'm sorry. Anduin's good at saving people, turns out.
So that's going to give ReGen Phoenix some room to breathe here on this shrine. Malthael and Kael'thas going to be wiping up these minions pretty quick. But Garrosh is on the top side looking for a way in. Augur is now back. Mudge gets thrown into the corner there, nowhere to slide.
Yeah, he's dead there.
And gonna be taken out. Just a quick look at the talents here. Did go for the loudspeakers on 4, so not gonna be able to slide through terrain. So that's gonna be pretty important here as Arrow now getting chased out by Dark Allegiance. Garrosh pretty low on the point here, but is starting to control the space. We'll see if ReGen Phoenix can get those Junkrat bombs over the wall and get enough last hits here. Arrow manages to get back here, but is it enough? Uther's stun is up. Oh, Malthael barely goes down. Tychus actually going down to Junkrat in lane there. Nice chase by Deribo, and that's going to allow ReGen Phoenix to move back onto this point. Garrosh is out of room. And we're going to have a Mortar Punisher pushing down the bottom lane.
Yeah, it was probably it wasn't a horrible outcome for Dark Alliance right there. Dark Allegiance. I'm thinking of Baldur's Gate. Got 2 kills. Stalled it a little bit. I actually felt like they should have just given it, but
they did try to contest. I mean, they got the initial pick onto ETC, but once they had that, they just couldn't really muscle their way onto the point as well as they wanted. And they were already down 20 minions by the time they got there, which is a pretty tough deficit.
Yeah, they probably chased a little bit too hard as possible right there for some of the kills, and then I'm not saying they would have gotten it anyways, but it's possible that if they focused on the shrine, they might have had a slightly better chance.
Garrosh warding there on the left-hand side. ReGen Phoenix is actually looking at Augur here. Deribo looking for a bomb. Oh, Top's going just a step too far. The range on that Ogwild just seems a little bit unfair sometimes, eh?
Yeah, Augur's really hard to kill. He saves his Z.
Deribo just putting a little damage there. Augur actually going down to half there with the help of that living bomb. You see Dark Allegiance is able to pick up their mid camp. They're going to try to clear out the bottom side. ReGen Phoenix doing all the macro things, and it looks like red side is going to reach level 10 just a little bit before blue. We'll see if they can do anything with that time advantage.
Yeah, they'll probably both hit 10 by the time the shrine comes up, though, so that should be good. And I think that as far as shrine control goes, that's a really huge step for, I think Dark Allegiance gets a really big boost at level 10 as far as shrine control goes.
I would agree, yeah. I assume it's going to be the Archon for Tassadar that allows a lot more control. Odin from Tychus gives a good amount of poke. And Augur being able to move in with Hortipult is also a pretty big deal. Mudge actually going to get caught here, but, you know, going to turn it around with the triple mosh. Here comes the Riptire into the backline. Garrosh taken out by the last rites, and so many red health bars are very, very healthy. Dark Allegiance is going to have to back off here. And, I gotta say, I don't usually see that work out, but Mudge actually catching everyone who could possibly interrupt them in that mosh. And ReGen Phoenix, they're gonna go ahead and steal this camp.
So, what happened is that I think oh, we have some interesting stuff going on. Try to go in. Oh, Shockwave. Okay.
It's gonna be Shockwave. Uh-oh. Living Bomb is attached. The meat is not gonna regen enough. Augur going down there.
So, the Uther tried to walk off to stun him and then got hit with the mosh. I think what he should have, I don't know if he had cleansed up. That was the problem. So what he should have done is cleanse the Garrosh, and then they probably kill that ETC. But he walked into the mosh, fortunately.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the cooldown was available.
He should have de-shielded, and then like that would be the next thing.
Looks like ReGen Phoenix gonna get a little pressure on this top side in preparation for the Arcane Shrine. Right now, a lot of members, everyone except for Augur on Dark Allegiance, we're dealing with the bottom lane, so Malthael pulling a lot of reaction. Garrosh is looking for a flank here, gonna have to move around this Junkrat trap. Malthael's still in the mid. This could be an opportunity. The throw onto Mudge is there. Catching the slide with the taunt there. Follow-up is good, but Light Bomb comes on through and hits 2. The Junkrat Mind is not going to reposition Garrosh. And overall, very well defended there by ReGen Phoenix.
Good defense.
Tassadar in the off lane for now. Uh-oh. Could be in trouble there, but the Invulnerable going to come on out onto Garrosh. Huge Slot starting to move back here. Tops did get a couple of minions, 8 kills there for Dark Allegiance. But now we see ReGen Phoenix taking their spot on the shrine. Tassadar has rejoined, though. If Dark Allegiance wants to move in, they're going to have to move in fast, or they could possibly go down level 13s here. Mudge. Uh-oh, it's actually Rabid Penguin thrown in, but Arya coming in with the save. Mudge catches 2 with the Mosh, but is interrupted by Tychus. There's the Junkrat tire coming on out to try to separate Arrow. Oh, Malthael actually blown up there. Mudge in some trouble as well as Valor Me with that Archon is splashing the damage onto ReGen Phoenix. ETC going to go down, and that's 2 kills for Dark Allegiance, and that's going to allow them to control this shrine once again.
Oh, jeez.
Wazan getting repositioned by Daribo. Look at those grenades coming out. Almost getting a free kill on lane onto Tychus once again there.
Yeah, so the Garrosh was able to displace the Kael'thas right there, and then Malthael just got blown up. Wasn't exactly sure how.
Yeah, I mean, into this much control with the Garrosh and the Uther, even repositions from Tychus, Malthael is going to have a pretty tough time. He's got to press Q on cooldown to be in the mix like that.
And then he has the unstoppable level. Hopefully that should help him a little bit.
Did pick up that inevitable end. Hopefully get through some of that and be able to get out scot-free. I mean, it's a bit of a tough one there. Cool Mudge actually thrown back. A taunt is in. Follow-up from the Punisher as well, but there's Anduin with that Leap of Faith save. Hogger taken out once again by Arrow in the off lane. That's Malthael's damage. Hogger doesn't have that reliable stun outside of Shockwave to really disrupt the Malthael.
Yeah, it's true, and I think he's probably trying to fight the Malthael too much. I mean, one of the benefits of Hogger is that he just destroys waves and then goes to the next one. So maybe think about trying to do that a little bit more instead of trying to fight the Malthael.
I didn't catch the really either one of those attempts. I only caught the end of the Malthael versus Hogger. Oh, Huge Slot was looking for a throw onto Mudge, and that's going to allow ETC to move up here. Arrow in the backline. There's the... Oh, look at the reposition. A little bit of miscommunication there between Daribo and Arrow, and the Light Bomb actually connecting while everyone was in midair.
They were able to split that, and then the Garrosh got the Indomitable on that. So you didn't get hit by the Light Bomb.
Oh, last rites. That's going to be it for Garrosh. Quasi pops the Odin, but without their tank, they're going to have to move back, and the camp steal is complete. ReGen Phoenix looking good on the way to level 16 here. Nice little trick to get that well over the wall with the camp.
I think as long as Dark Allegiance soaks her a little bit, they should probably be able to hit 16 by the time. Oh, jeez.
Gets repositioned by Daribo. Tassadar pops the Plasma Shield and pops the Archon to move back. Nice Arcane Barrier.
I think he actually could have killed the Kael'thas, but I'm not 100% sure.
It was pretty close. That barrier came out on very low health. The Rabid Penguin is going to get away there. Some tops on that Hogger rotating through. Managed to pick up the bottom camp. Now halfway to level 16. They could have their 16s before this next shrine.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be able to get it pretty easily. The one thing they need to make sure, I guess they see everyone, so they're gonna go for this camp now. But the camp invade could have been a serious issue on the side of Dark Allegiance. We're gonna have a 16-16 fight on the shrine. I think Odin will be up, but I'm not sure that Archon will be.
Archon's still about 50 seconds out and may not be there for the beginning of the shrine, that's for sure. You see ReGen Phoenix actually moving to the top side, possibly going to threaten that top fort. And uh-oh, Arrow could be in trouble here. Huge Slot still mounted. Arrow pops the Unstoppable, trying to move on through, is going to be stunned by Hogger, and that's going to be Malthael going down there. A huge rotation. 5 players from Dark Allegiance. Now it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a trade on Siege in the top and bottom lanes.
Yeah, but this is really good. The only problem is the top has the Bruiser, but this is going to be really good for Dark Allegiance because they'll have this fort down, and they're going to get this Punisher, I would assume.
It does really help them on the Punisher position, for sure.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have their own fort to begin with, so that eliminates a retreat point for ReGen Phoenix here.
That means that this Punisher is going to go right to the keep, What I'm hoping they do is they get on this really quickly, and then somebody goes back to clears that Bruiser.
Bruiser is pushing on that top side. Hogger looks like is going to be back to deal with that. Malthael on the way to this shrine. Dark Allegiance using that Odin to try to get the clear here, but there's Junkrat throwing out those triple mines. Mudge, body blocking, huge slot here. There's the Light Bomb. Is actually going to land onto the Tychus in the back line. Nice slide right back through Garrosh with there's the Divine Shield. Arrow in trouble here. Malthael going to go down once again. And now ReGen Phoenix is going to have to start moving back. Stun comes out from USA Mafia. Follow up with the Benediction. Actually, that's Kael'thas down. Mudge in trouble as well. ETC was trying to go in for the save. And now the chase is going to be on. The slow coming in from Tychus is going to secure the fate of ETC. And Dark Allegiance, they get control of this. They've cleared the top Shaman. They're in pretty good shape here.
And I think the Uther got a huge amount of value right there. The shield, the armor, and I think normally in these kind of like quick engages, the Uther comp was probably going to win most of the time.
There it is. Frozen Punisher going to be pushing down that bottom lane. Like you mentioned, bottom fort taken out there off the pick, which means this full health Punisher is going to be moving on to the keep wall. All of a sudden, Dark Allegiance with now a full level lead here. Getting ahead with those minion soak and getting those late hero kills has really pushed them ahead in XP.
Oh yeah, and also because the fight took so long, they're going to have Odin up again in a few seconds. So that's going to be some pretty big pushing right there. Pop Odin.
Tychus going to go ahead and pop that. Odin coming on out. Frozen Punisher not connected to the keep just yet, so it's going to take a couple of shots. Uh-oh, ETC in some trouble here. So many... Oh, actually gets the Light Bomb to go off. Mudge survives for now, but Rooted is arrow tops in all sorts of trouble. Last Right's going to come on out and get the kill onto Hogger. Deribo with some fantastic mine usage there. Now ReGen Phoenix trying to run and turn this thing around. Tychus going to be caught in the stun chain. Can Malthael actually catch up? Yeah, that's going to be it for Tychus here. Double kill on the defense for ReGen Phoenix, and they save the keep.
Yeah, they'll probably get the mid fort. Oh my god, do you see this mid lane? The minions are blocked off.
The minions couldn't pass the camps. They were sieging away here. Unfortunate.
Yeah. That as weird as it sounds, that I've actually never seen that.
It's pretty infrequent that you see a minion wave. Like, they're coded to not get blocked by a lot of stuff for specifically that reason. But the hitboxes from those Khas were just a little too big, I guess. It's not usual that you get 6 of them stacked up across a lane like that. Level 20s are here for both squads. Huge slot looking for a throw once again. Nice Indomitable is going to deny the Junkrat mine. Tychus has now respawned.
I still think that Dark Allegiance has a huge advantage on shrines. They should not look to fight anyone until they get on it. Oh, we got a pause.
Looks like we got a pause coming out, so we'll bring it on back to the cast. Going back up here. Denying the escape of ETC in this late game. There's the taunt combo with Light Bomb coming out as well. Mudge gonna pop the mosh pit, but not gonna land onto anybody here. Garrosh taken out by Kael'thas on the bottom side as Flora Me is in all sorts of trouble. That's gonna be Tassadar falling down. Oh, Rabid Penguin barely able to survive the grenade of Tychus there. What can ReGen Phoenix do with this? They get the steal.
I guess they're not going to push in anything. I would have.
They don't have a lot of opportunities to push anything in here. The top wave is crashing on their side of the map. Hogger pushing out the bottom lane. So it looks like they may just get this mid fort and possibly not a lot else. Malthael going to get the opportunity to catch up that top lane, and that's pretty important.
Yeah, that is important. They'll probably get that camp. They'll probably get their camps out. I would have, maybe it's just me, I would have pushed really hard into one of these keeps.
Uh-oh, Uther in all sorts of trouble there. Moved back. It's actually going to get repositioned into that Junkrat route. Divine Shield long enough to move past the mine. USA Mafia now 90 seconds without a pretty important save tool. Garrosh back on the battlefield. Tassadar about to come up as well. So able to sort of flip the map in their favor, get a little bit of damage onto mid, get top pushing in their direction. And now with a Shrine advantage is ReGen Phoenix. They get to set up here first. Mudge watching the top side. Daribo watching the bottom flank. Garrosh actually moves around the trap there. Garrosh going to be dismounted, just looking for a throw over the wall there. The rest of the team, you see Dark Allegiance just waiting on the other side to get a kill for whoever. Huge Slot goes ahead and throws. Wazang throws out the slow onto ETC, but not enough for the pick. Now we start to see the members of Dark Allegiance move on to the Shrine Point. Double throw from Huge Slot is there. Taunt comes on through. Junkrat blown up, but there's the light bomb from Anduin. Arrow in all sorts of trouble. The second pull is not going to be enough to save. And Dark Allegiance picks up the double and control of this point, popping those big ults in the Odin and the Twilight Archon.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Mosh onto one is actually going to be interrupted. Tychus may go down for this. Rabid Penguin is attacking away. And that's a pretty important pick for ReGen Phoenix here.
I think that probably means that there's a chance that they don't get to keep now. I think had he stayed alive, they probably would have for sure gotten to keep.
The Twilight Archon is going to expire here for Tassadar. And yeah, without Tychus and without that Archon, it's a lot of the siege power taken out of this Punisher. I just got to be careful with baiting this over the wall. The stun is there. Is able to move on back.
I think they still get this keep, actually, it looks like.
Yeah, it's still pretty healthy here. Junkrat now back on the battlefield. Malthael coming out as well. Daribo does have that tire upgrade. He's going to be able to throw those out a lot.
They got this keep. They need it back out.
Keep is there.
Oh.
Huge Slot pops the Indomitable. Light Bomb is not going to catch any. There's the D-Shield going to save from the last rites connecting.
There's just Hogger doing Hogger things right there. Just, you know.
Running away. Bouncing off anything.
Ending up. Going across the entire map.
Uh-oh. Garrosh is scouted there. Throws in two, but doesn't get the stun. Arrow on the back line. There's the Mosh onto two. Garrosh could be in trouble here. Getting auto attack, the Living Bomb is going to be enough. Counter kill is there onto Kael'thas. USA Mafia trying to get away here. Mudge needs a cooldown. There's the slide. The Junkrat Mine is not going to hit after the knockback. Mudge moves in. Filorami is shelling the back line. There goes Malthael. There goes ETC. Deathmosh going to save Daribo and Arya here. Wazang going to go down. And ultimately, going to be a 2 for 2 as Malthael bought back. Oh, they're going to continue. Arrow moving back onto the point here. The Twilight Archon is up. Light Bomb comes through. Will not be able to stun the unstunnable Hogger. Anduin taken out here. Tops will go down in trade for Malthael. Daribo trying to trade out with USA Mafia here. There's the stun. Ultimately, a 4 for 3 with a couple extras in there for Dark Allegiance.
If I were them, I'd run down that mid. Yeah, they probably can't run it down.
We're going to see Filorami with USA Mafia here. Just going to go ahead and try to do what they can with their remaining 2 members. Daribo cleaning up this camp in the mid.
And you know, recently I've seen so much Black Hole from Tassadar's. I appreciate the Archon, because I think Archon is still most of the time better. I think Black Hole has good uses in, like, counter-engage, but...
Yeah. Like, if Tassadar was on the other team right now, totally Black Hole. Garrosh wants to run at you, and a bunch of people want to be waiting in throw range to get the kill.
I actually
just Black Hole all that away.
Here. I'd still go Archon, personally, particularly on this map.
It is good for the map, just having that siege potential, having that ability to clear the shrine with some extra range is pretty good.
But like,
Indomitable, is that going to be enough to actually save Garrosh? It's going to force out the invulnerable. Mudge interrupted there. There's the Riptire going to separate out and going to be chasing Garrosh. Looks like there's enough healing there. Mudge finds the stun. They really want this Garrosh kill. There's 2 thrown in, though. Rabid Penguin going to have to be saved by Arya. Thrown in again. Kael'thas goes down, but there goes Garrosh. Arrow being stunned out. The Unstoppable not enough, and there goes Malthael. Wazang with that slowing overkill. Not quite enough to chase down the members of ReGen Phoenix there. And it's another 2-for-1 for Dark Allegiance.
Garrosh getting really good throws right there. Displacing a Kael'thas in the beginning of that fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anytime you can get the Kael'thas out of position, it's good. Or the Junkrat. Obviously sacrifices his life, but
he's going to take control of this top shrine. There's not a whole lot the ReGen Phoenix can do about it. They've got to make sure that this bottom keep is in good shape. Daribo clearing up the mid. Yeah, I don't think they don't really have enough time here. Looks like they're going to move up and see if they can find a pick. USA Mafia is going to see him coming. Benediction comes out for one stun. There's the second stun. And Dark Allegiance is backing away.
Yeah, they don't need to fight here. I really
Hogger's
don't
on the
like...
back line. Mudge could be in trouble. Manages to slide through Hogger. USA Mafia looking for a stun there onto ETC, but won't find it. You see Malthiel and Kael'thas are starting to come up here.
There's no way they can
Dark Allegiance got to be careful. They're starting to back off. They've got a huge lead on this shrine. Taunt comes out and Kael'thas is absolutely deleted. Daribo trying to push back Falura Me there. USA Mafia gets thrown in with the into the fray. Moving back with the Light Bomb's arrow, but Mudge can't quite find the main mosh, but is going to get the death mosh. Arrow on the back line trying to get some hits. Last rites, was actually connected onto Hogger. This time it's a 3-for-1 for Dark Allegiance, and this is the most kills I've seen on an Infernal Shrines map in quite some time.
This is a lot of kills. Both teams want to run it down like really hard, when sometimes they probably shouldn't. I felt like that ReGen should have just tried to push out some lanes, maybe get a few camps in, and then just defend.
Went for a very aggressive play there for sure.
Yeah, down to hero.
Losing 2. Now we've got the Odin coming on in. The Archon is not available though. This keep will almost certainly be going down. But will it be a core rush? Kael'thas is up now. ETC's up in 10 seconds. There will be a full defense for ReGen Phoenix.
3 catapults on it. I think this is over, probably.
Wazank clearing out the way through the mid. There's 81% on the core. Big Punisher jump onto 2. Light Bomb going to come on through and catch 2 here. Tassadar blown up, but the core is taking some pretty fatal damage. Catapult in the mid. Objective is on the core. And that is going to be it. Dark Allegiance picking up the first map of the day.
Yeah, I thought that they played well, and I thought that they had the better comp for
We saw a different style that very much worked out for Dark Allegiance. See if it works out again as we go in here to Braxis Holdout.
There's so many different types of comps you can run on this map. It's insane. And they all, like, counter each other. I've had this explained to me multiple times. So, like, a lot of people kind of run the standard 1-4. Then you can run something where you run a run-3-run, where you can constantly rotate. That actually normally counters, like, the 2-3. So a lot of people will put a person on the top, and they'll just shove that into the other offlaner really hard.
I have been seeing a little bit more of the 1-3-1 starting to come out. I have also seen, like, you just run a 1-4 with a Brightwing and a high damage offlaner. So you could run it even with something like an Imperius up there, and you wait for an engage, and Brightwing comes in and helps to get the kill.
There's the, like, the
double see Falstad taken out here.
Yeah, he's really strong in this map. So the double global is actually another common comp too in this map, where you have, I think historically it was run like with like Dahaka and Falstad, where you have like a Dahaka top, and then you have the Dahaka come flank them, and you get a kill, and you send Falstad to the top like right away to get the soak. So you don't have to point. I think there's a lot of
while since I've seen that pulled off in amateur play, but I have seen it run a couple times. It's pretty tough to pull off, especially with Falstad banned.
Yeah, it loses a lot of value. I guess. Let's see. You have Dahaka. Brightwing is one of the ones that's hard to do to switch from one side because she either has to be in the off lane or.
Yeah. You'd have to like Z up there before Dahaka comes down.
Yeah.
And then you're pretty too much telegraphing what you're doing, and you're also denying a lot of value out of why Brightwing would Z in. Yeah, that wouldn't work as well.
But also, you're just switching the Brightwing into Dahaka at that point, so.
At that point, it's like, you know, run something like a Genji, or run something like a...
Well, Genji is really...
that almost can move through the middle and act as sort of a global in that way.
So, take away the Uther right away. They say, hey, enough of that.
Arya picking up the Uther first. It's not necessarily a solo heal Uther, one of the more flexible heroes we have these days. But Arya did play the Anduin last game, so that would imply to me that it's probably an Uther heals. Or it could be a double with an Uther in the front line. There's so many ways you can go with an Uther.
Oh, yeah. That's why he's such a high priority pick now.
Like, you do a first pick Uther, and I have no idea what the rest of your draft is. There's just nothing.
Arya Ragnaros.
Okay, so that's a, I would say, leaning into a 1-4 style. It kind of tries to force Braxis to go late, which is not the normal state of Braxis. That makes me wonder if Dark Allegiance might be trying to run something like a Nazebo here.
The problem with this map is it's a too-late map, so Nazebo...
Now, ReGen Phoenix is doubling down on the early game with Sonya Sylvanas. They're saying, I think we can run right through your Ragnaros.
Sonya's actually like a really good scaling hero. Sylvanas scales normally at like
especially with
13 and 16.
Build. W scales really well late.
I think all of them do. I think all of their 16s and 20s are all just really strong. One of them is literally here, don't die for 4 seconds. And then the other ones, you know, kind of depend on 16.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like her 1 to 10 siege power is right up there near the top.
It's probably out of offlaners is the highest. What I've been told is Diva is actually like the second best, as weird as it sounds, because she can like hit multiple structures at once or something.
If you can glue yourself to a wall,
yeah,
I think, being able to multiply the damage on the gate and on a tower,
especially
if you go with a build that where you get the extra, you get the better autos if you're right up close. A Cho'Gall ban from ReGen Phoenix. I mean, with the Oriole chosen, I understand.
Okay, this is a push comp. So they're going push, and Ragnaros is going to try to stall. So what I'm thinking here is Ragnaros, like they're going to be like, okay, just don't die in the top lane, and then they're going to push really hard in the bot.
That is how they're setting up. They're going to use Zul'jin as their main siege, which is pretty good. Zul'jin can just lay the axes into those buildings.
It's kind of interesting because Sylvanas is... Now, I think Sylvanas is an incredibly flexible hero. But obviously she helps siege.
Artanis Lee.
So this is a main tank Uther with a Sonya flex, I think. Or an Artanis flex? I don't know. We'll see.
Mudge was the tank last time.
This is a tank Artanis?
I mean, unless they're going to switch off and they're going to have Artanis played by Arrow in the top lane.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I 100% am... This is like kind of like the Wild Heart-ish, like, double support, double carry comp. I think this has got to be offlane Artanis, but I could be wrong.
Looking for hero switches, because we've got people playing a lot of different stuff here.
Okay, is this a tank Zarya now? What do we got?
I guess it is. A solo frontline Zarya appears to be the play. Looks like Daribo's going to move on to the Uther. Arya's going to be on the Lili. Mudge is on the Sonya. Arrow is on the Artanis. Okay, so it's probably Artanis top lane then.
Okay, yeah, that's what I said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think the Sonya is generally
not Artanis tank. It's the Artanis off lane.
Yeah, so the Sonya is the quote, or the I think the Uther is, I don't know. So technically, when you run something like this, like they're kind of all ambiguous a little bit. This is kind of like the Wild Heart-ish draft that they kind of popularized, where you just run double support and you just run like, who knows, whatever they feel like. But like the Sonya is just such a high damage dealer. With the double support, she's kind of able to, you know, do a bunch. So
I'm interested to see how this goes, because I mean both teams can push really, really hard here, but we don't have to wait much longer. Game number 2 is underway. On the left in the blue, Dark Allegiance looking for the 2-0. It's Tops on the Oriole, Filorami on the Zul'jin, Voisin on the Zarya. USA Mafia is going to be playing the Deckard. and huge slot on the Ragnaros.
And the red team is ReGen Phoenix. We have Arrow on Artanis, Aria on Lily, Darbrow on Uther, Mudge on Sonya, and Rabid Penguin on Sylvanas. Okay,
Game number 2 is underway here. It's going to be that maximum charge for the Zarya. Going to be looking to move right onto those walls very quickly here. Me wanting to get stacked up as Zul'jin as early as possible. You see that Artanis top lane that's going to be trying to deal with the Ragnaros. So we see Me actually getting pushed back by Mudge. Nice stun there by Tops. Now Zarya we see getting close to that maximum charge, but it looks like ReGen Phoenix is starting to control this this bottom lane.
You say that.
Yes, I say that. They start to get pushed back a little bit. And the healing from Tops is really getting everyone back to full very quickly.
I'm more interested in Ragnaros versus Artanis. You can't tell me you're not interested in that matchup now.
It's a pretty interesting matchup. Me getting pushed back a little bit there.
So the only problem I have with the Artanis here is, like, his clear is so bad. Right?
It is pretty... It's tough. Until you get to 7 Solarite Reaper.
Is that...
Your clear is pretty rough.
This is a W build Ragnaros that's interesting in the off lane. I kind of think of W build Ragnaros more as like a flex. Oh.
Arrow. Trying here, but yeah, you can see the wave clear advantage that Ragnaros has. It's going to make things a little bit difficult there for Artanis. And Zarya's already right up on the wall here, as Sonya trying to get that that back Hellbat camp to help the Artanis with that wave pressure. Now we're in kind of a 2-3 situation for ReGen Phoenix. They weren't getting a whole lot done as 4 down in the bottom lane. Now we're going to see Sonya start to come on back. We'll see if they can even the scales here. Rag actually popping that trade in the top lane, and here comes Sonya trying to get the slams through. And the push just continues here for Dark Allegiance.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of damage. The Zul'jin already has 11 stacks.
Daribo out of mana here, gonna have to go back and restock.
That's kind of the thing.
It's actually pretty low health. Top. Gonna have to go back as well.
But look at it, the bottom lane already has the wall down.
Zarya pushing in here, trying to reset the aggro. This fort already moving to about half health before Daribo manages to make it back. This bruiser camp will help relieve the pressure a little bit. Right now the beacons are split. Jose starting to move back here. Mudge gets the connection onto Me. Those rubies not in reach for the Zul'jin. Uh-oh, Zul'jin could be in trouble. Oh, nice route. Rabid Penguin starting to move back. That's going to be Sylvanas going down and Sonya, but the counter kill is good onto Oriel. All of a sudden, what seemed like it was going to be forever without anyone actually going down with all the support on both sides. A couple of kills coming on through.
Yeah, and the longer this game goes, the better Zul'jin gets. He's already at 16 stacks. Whew.
Shield Surge for Artanis is going to help out the dueling there in the top lane, as we see Arrow is managing to hold on to this point versus Huge Slot. But the bottom lane push for Dark Allegiance is very, very difficult. The stun comes out onto Voisin. Starting to move back. Mudge needs one more hit, but they can't catch the Zarya. Personal barrier with the save. Can they find Zul'jin, though?
Yeah,
stun comes out. The root really from Deckard is going to catch 3, but it's not going to be enough. Zul'jin is down. It looks like ReGen Phoenix might be able to get some more channel on this objective. I'm interested in this Artanis 7. Is it going to be the Solarite Reaper, or is it going to be more dueling?
So, in my personal opinion, I would have liked to seen ReGen Phoenix go for like the more of the 1-3-1. Although that's really tough. You'd probably need someone like a Junkrat or someone to like be able to kind of stall the siege.
Yeah, I mean, with Chromie banned out, Junkrat would be able to clear from long enough away. Was I in trouble once again? Manages to get saved. Rag trying to deal with that top push with the trait once again, as Mudge being just pushed out by the Zarya and the Zul'jin. Push continuing down here for Dark Allegiance, despite having 0% on the Zerg wave. Looks like Ragnaros gets pushed out there, but had a pretty good defense there in the top lane.
Might die close. Close.
Huge slot is getting pretty low here. Arrow looking for an opportunity. Bottom lane, though. Mudge trying to push in once again in this 4v4.
So, like, part of the issue I also think that Dark Allegiance will have is they have no stuns, right? And the other team has a Sonya, so we'll kind of see how that goes.
Rabid Penguin being pushed back. Mudge moving on in once again here. Gets the spin, and that's going to be it for Zarya. Top's not able to quite come through with the save there. And the top lane is still being pushed in by Arrow. Looking for a swap onto Huge Slot. Will not land. This top fort going down. That's a very, very big deal for that top lane matchup.
Oh, yeah. That also means, so if, let's say they swap lanes, that means that the 4-man will have, you know, a much harder time trying to defend the top.
Because, yeah, I mean, this push comp coming on through, like you said, no stuns available. That means if they ever get into a situation where they have to retreat, they don't actually have a lot of options. Daribo going to be stunned against that fort, as we see Zul'jin actually already done with that baseline quest. Daribo moving on up. Falurami gets saved by Tops, but the chase is on. Daribo wants a stun, but won't get it. The root from Deckard is out, and Uther is down. The counter kill is good onto Ariel, though. Level 10s have arrived. Arrow actually down here in the bottom lane trying to aid in this push. As we see the level 10s, it is going to be the Wrath of the Berserker for Sonya, Wailing Arrow for Sylvanas, Suppression Pulse for Artanis, Lily and Uther waiting and considering.
I gotta think this has got to be Jugs, yeah.
Yep,
so
going for the Jugs, and it's going to be Divine Storm for Uther. So looking to get the stuns. I think I like that pick. So far, they've been just off of a few kills, and having that extra stun time might tip the scales in these engages.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, because I do kind of like the thought of D-Shield with the Sonya, just like going ham on him, too. But, I could
through here. Dark Allegiance gets the sleep onto 2. Zarya uses the ult to control the point and steal this camp. There's the Jugs from Arya, keeping everyone very healthy, and Mudge is starting to go ham on this backline. Falurami being chased out. There's the slam coming on through. Mudge has to back off, though, as the damage coming on through from Zarya was really starting to hurt. Lava Wave bottom lane. There's the stun from Daribo, but Uther will go down here. Arrow and Arya trying to retreat. Very nicely done. And now we get the push with this double camp in the bottom lane. This is a great situation for Dark Allegiance. Arrow coming on down from the top lane, looking for a way to possibly separate out someone from this push. Expulsion Zone is going to catch Lily. Great job there. Suppression Pulse to ward away the members of Dark Allegiance, as Ragnaros once again becoming a structure to siege on in here. Push continues with this bruiser camp, with this catapult. Mudge pops the Wrath of the Berserker, wants to find the kill onto Falurami, but the support is so strong. Arrow wants the flip, but won't quite get it. Mudge in all sorts of trouble is going to go down there. That max energy Zarya damage is so much to deal with, and the push will continue for Dark Allegiance.
Pushing really hard. They might have to get this key.
Arrow looking for something. Is going to get rooted. There's the Expulsion Zone. Going to trap Daribo for just a moment. Ariel coming through with the save onto Voisin. It's just try after try here. Zarya gets swapped in. Uther going to go down here. Actually, the kill onto Zarya will be completed. ReGen Phoenix finally has the opportunity to push back Dark Allegiance here and try to clean up these lanes. Arrow, oh, finds the swap onto huge slot. Ragnaros does not have the Zarya shielding to try to get away. It's going to be just Oriole. Can Mudge find the spear? Looking for one. Looking for a swap once again. Going to land onto Ragnaros. Is it going to be enough? Yes, Ragnaros is going to go down, but Rabid Penguin going to fall as well. Sylvanas getting killed by that wave collapse. And this is the fight that simply won't stop. Arrow swapping in USA Mafia. Florami is flinging those axes as Daribo actually making it back to the battlefield. And that's going to be Oriole going down. A 4-player sleep coming on out from USA Mafia. It allows them to line up the expulsion zone. But ReGen Phoenix just turns it around and finds the kill onto Zul'jin. It took a few minutes, but ReGen Phoenix turning that thing around.
Yup. So I think part of the comp design of ReGen Phoenix over here is they just took all the blinds, or took as many of them as they could, 4-2 into the Zul'jin, and then kind of hope they can run it down. Also go to the Zarya too.
Blinding the Zarya for an amount of time will help out Wazang, taken out there by the double stun coming through from Sonya and Uther. ReGen Phoenix, they've got a chance to bust this thing open. They've got progress on the channel, though Ragnaros is going to stop that around 50%. Zarya's still down for 20 seconds. What can ReGen Phoenix do here? They're going to try to keep up the pressure on this bottom court. Rabid Penguin, you gotta be careful. Who's back into the axe range? Couldn't get away from the slow. Nice cast there from Florami.
Yeah, unfortunately, kind of just tried to duel the Zul'jin there a little bit.
That's a tough one to do. Arya gonna get away just fine. Lilies are immortal, and we're gonna have 100-0 Zerg wave pushing down the bottom lane here for ReGen Phoenix. Sylvanas is down, so they won't have the black arrows to help with this push.
She'll probably be there fast enough to help. This is... I don't know about this.
Rag pops the building, hits the lava wave, and the Zerg wave is getting just cleaved down. Rag is getting taken out by those Ultralisks. Daribo having to move back there and get away from Zarya.
Oh, there's a fort there. Okay, I'm sorry. I for some reason thought that he, like, was popping it there.
Uh-oh, turn onto Voisin is good. Zarya gets saved there by Oriole. Expulsion zone comes on out, but Florami now needs some help. Starting to run out of tools as Dark Allegiance, but turning this thing around. Suppression Pulse blind for 4 seconds. Daribo with the stun onto members of Dark Allegiance. Will that be enough for an escape? Huge Slot trying to catch up here. Daribo trying to get away from Zul'jin. Will not do so. Uther is down, and USA Mafia way up there. Finds the sleep onto Lili as Sonya taken out as well. Arrow trying to get away, swaps through to try to find some shielding, but that's Artanis down. And this could possibly be core. We'll have to see here. Arya trying to get away, and this push comp is now on top of the core. They're going to try. Oh no, is taken out, not respecting the Sylvanas damage. And that put a stop to that push. Silence Arrow, is that going to be enough? Oh, the heals from Oriole are just barely enough. Rabid Penguin saving the game there.
Definitely didn't respect the Sylvanas damage. I don't think people realize how much damage she can do. I always find it interesting.
If there's nothing else in range to soak up those Q arrows, there's a lot of damage comes out with just that one cast, and then the minus
somehow
armor.
They skipped out this boss.
Oh wow, Daribo's actually going to move on to the point here. Rabid Penguin with the unstoppable wave moves up. Sylvanas goes down for it. That's going to allow ReGen Phoenix to move on to this point. They steal the boss. They're going to find this kill onto Oriole. Mudge is chasing out Zul'jin in the back line.
That was really good awareness.
Wow. What a play from ReGen Phoenix. They're going to steal the boss. They're going to steal this camp. They've picked up a kill onto Oriole. They're going to go ahead and steal this left side. Well, they're thinking about it. They're going to move around. Uh-oh, Ragnaros in trouble here. The stun is good. And that's going to be Rag going down. Mudge, got to be careful with this fort. Will fall. Lava Wave was popped before Rag went down. That's going to blunt some of the pressure from this boss. But the objective is now up, and we may be looking at another big Zerg wave for ReGen Phoenix.
We might be. I mean, the Rag has been able to stymie some of that push from the objective. I think that ReGen Phoenix has won every objective.
Oh, Arrow wants a swap. Oh, almost landing there onto Deckard. Repo's starting to move back. Mudge is going to get the... Oh, no, he's going to get slept. What turns it around, trying to find this kill onto Deckard. Lily with the jugs. Oh, but Sonya gets pushed out of the ult. And that's going to be Mudge going down. The counter kill is good onto Zul'jin. Trading out Sonya for Zul'jin there, but to look at the progress, ReGen Phoenix is going to have another huge Zerg wave in the top lane. That's already pushed into this keep.
Honestly, I would trade any hero on the side of ReGen Phoenix for Zul'jin.
Oh, absolutely. Zul'jin currently sitting at 81 stacks out of a 30 stack quest.
107k damage. I think he might have more damage in his whole team. No.
Let's take a look here. It's close. I mean, Zarya's up there.
They have about, let's see, that's 67k. That's, so, I think his whole team, the rest of his team has like 120k, I think. Somewhere around there.
It's close. Call it 45% of the team's damage onto heroes.
I think it's more than that. Oh, no, you're right. You're right. I can't
Top
math.
lane
Jeez.
defense going to be coming on through. Actually going to go ahead and push in the bottom lane. Might be looking to use some of those black arrows. Deckard coming on down. USA Mafia. Oh, gotta be careful here. Throws out the Dorito. Now coming on down for the defense is Dark Allegiance. Arrow looking for a swap. Uh-oh, slowed by that the apex of those twin cleaves. Zul'jin blinded for 4 seconds. There's going to be enough. USA Mafia with another extremely aggressive stay a while and listen. Expulsion Zone going to push away Arya here, but the Gugs is going to be enough. Oriel goes down. Zarya goes down. ReGen Phoenix with the double kill. Can they move through 4 for this? Into Zul'jin, it's going to be tough. Lava Wave has been used.
Lava Wave has been used. Trait has been used. Black Arrow's up.
No, it was used on the push. Oh, no, it is available.
They have it.
Looking for a swap. Oh, they find the Deckard. What a swap from Arrow. Deckard Kane goes down. That's a huge stagger here for ReGen Phoenix.
I think that's the you go for core here now.
They've still got to worry about this Zul'jin. They're moving on to the
really
core here.
Siege,
looking for a swap. They're not going to find it. Stun is good onto Rose. Oh, they hit the blind onto Zul'jin. That's so much time they have for the siege. Arrows locked on. There's Mudge getting the pushback. Huge slot manages to get away. Falora Me pops the unkillable. This core is at 50%. The second suppression pulse comes on down. And this is going to be ReGen Phoenix evening up this series 1-1. GG.
GG. They went for a really aggressive flank on that bottom.
Like, we're playing this game that's about brawling and it's about, you know, team fights, and it's like, we're just gonna not do that. Oh. Okay.
I wish they like reworked him a little bit so that like he had like a max cap on like kind of what damage he could get. Because I do agree that like making a game about brawling where one character is way better at brawling than everyone else makes it kind of like unfun, I think sometimes.
It can be like when the best way to play is like antithetical to what you want the gameplay of your game to be. I think that could be something to look at. Like in previous patches and previous anomalies, when the best play was to not clear the waves, it's like, well, that's kind of not fun. Like, why is the best way to play the game to not play it? Like, that didn't feel good.
I mean, it just feels like League to me. Like that's why I didn't play League. But I actually think I think macro is fun, to be fair. But I think the problem with a map like Volskaya is that there's not much to do on the map macro wise when you're not.
That's true. Yeah. You've got your siege, which you take before the objective. You pick up your turret when you can, and that's kind of all you do. Like, you can't get some good pushes in the off lanes. You only really take the heal camp if you've got a big comp advantage, or you've picked up a couple kills. So you get into these situations where you just can't really do anything, and there's not a lot of opportunities to force mistakes out. of your opponent.
Yep, but we'll see what these teams want to do. We see, I'm surprised Falstad is banned because W is not legal. And like, I think that's where most of his dumb damage comes from. Otherwise, he's kind of more of just like a split push hero. Chromie ban, obviously that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the untalented W not nearly as effective for old Falstad, but it's been really hard to see whether the auto attack build is any good because we get Storm League data, and why wouldn't you go W build in Storm League, right? So it's like, is it actually good? I'm not really sure.
I mean, like, Falstad still kind of has his, like, the same utility as he did before with the auto attack build. So he fills the same niche with auto attack as he did before, which was, I think, underrated. But the W build is just like, oh, I become Li Ming. I'm Li Ming, guys. Here you go.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
It was an interesting design choice for sure. Countering the Sonya here is the Uther Tychus for ReGen Phoenix. It definitely puts a lot of pressure onto Sonya if Taps ever decides to go in, or Tops.
I'd like to see like a Cassia Joe here. I'd like to see a Joe in one of these picks into that Tychus.
We saw one Johanna ban, but otherwise no action on the Crusader. Gonna be Li Ming here for Voisin. That's our second pick. Going right back to the Zul'jin is for Laura Me.
All right.
I mean, it's a pretty classic pairing for Volskaya Foundry. Li Ming, a lot of space on the flanks to work with. There's no minions in the way of the objective. You just get to aim to your heart's delight. Zul'jin goes, like, game goes late. Zul'jin goes late. Now, what might be different here is Zul'jin's probably not going to hit 81 stacks this game.
What I would like to see, I don't know how many teams tend to run backdive comps, because I've noticed that teams don't like to run it. I guess it requires a little bit of extra execution and kind of, quote, killer mentality. I would like to see them dive the hell out of this backline right now.
It's kind of doable. I mean, Tychus has a tough time doing it. They'd have to
that's
bring in
kind
some,
of the issue
some
that you run into
very
right now.
different kind of picks, but it could still be... Johanna would have been actually really nice for that with Falling Sword. Tyrael can kind of run at the back line. Tyrael Uther is an interesting pairing to go with.
It would be. I would like to see something that kind of stuns them a little bit more. They're Murden. Cassia. Okay. Good picks.
Alright, so Murden going to be able to get up in their faces a little bit. Not going to be able to do quite as much as Zul'jin. Can definitely mess up a Li Ming.
Oh, I think he disrupts Zul'jin a lot, actually, because...
Oh, okay.
This is from the One Trick Murden, right? So, there's two things. One is, getting right on top of Zul'jin is probably, like... There's two ways to play into Zul'jin, like I said before. Go right on top of him and kill him right away, or never fight him. And I think, actually, Murden can kind of do both. So... the slows on the attack at level, well, you can go for level 4, but I don't see people do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I kind of go for the double clap now. Attack speed slow, stuns, really tanky. You can even go for armor at level 1.
Curious coming on through from Arrow. So finding an extra stun at range to try to deal with this Zul'jin, I think could really help out. So not quite the heavy dive, but Imperius is like a little baby dive.
So maybe they're trying to kill the variant now.
That could
Sonya.
be the play.
They could kill the Sonya too.
Alright. I'll be back in just a second. I feel like my cat is about to knock something over.
Okay. Yeah, so if we got... so there's a lot of damage on the side of ReGen Phoenix. The only problem that I see right now is that they have the Uther heals into like kind of a sustained damagey comp with the Phoenix with the Zul'jin. So we'll have to see what happens here. I really think that you could go after the Sonya or the variant.
Keeps getting behind this. I've got some bed slats back there, and I don't want him to knock them over.
Okay.
On the left in the blue Game number 3 here. Dark Allegiance. USA Mafia is on the white main. Flora Mi is on the Zul'Jin. Huge slot playing Varian. Voisin on the Li Ming. And Tops on the Sonya.
And on the right side, we have the red team. ReGen Phoenix. We have Arrow playing Imperius. Area playing Uther, Rabid, Penguin on Tygus. Darabou on Cassia. And Mudge on Murden.
Game number 3 here. Dark Allegiance looking to pick up their 2 points on their path for the 8th seed. ReGen Phoenix looking to hang on to their 8th seed. Picking up the victory here would go a long way to securing that.
This is not a W build Sonya?
Looking at the tough as nails there on level 1 to try to help out with that Imperious matchup.
It's just the lane matchup? Okay.
You can still go for W's on Sonya, I think, without the level 1. If you miss the level 4, that's a pretty big deal.
What again? That does,
The level 1 is just you get the 4th slam free.
It does more damage on the primary target, right?
The level 1?
The level 1 does, I think every 4th one does like 100% more damage on a primary target.
Oh, you're right. It does do some extra damage and costs no rage.
Yeah, the only issue is that I have with that right now is that like they have a Tychus on the other side, so that thing is going to be very much useless in an actual fight. And I think that as far as this lane matchup goes, like you don't really need to fight the Imperious. You kind of just clear the lane and move on. So we'll have to see how it goes though. He might just go for E build. They might see something.
It could be. We see Tops dueling away with Imperious here. Mudge coming on down to take away the honorable 1v1. Tops trying to move back to the lane. Oh, the full team is here. This is going to be trouble. There goes Sonya. Getting some damage on that mid wall, though, is the rest of Dark Allegiance.
Yeah, this is a good pick right there, but probably is like slightly overcommitted. Maybe one person could have stayed back to get them in mid lane. If I were them, I would go right for this support camp.
Got the level 4 advantage. They know Sonya's just now getting out of base. Their clear is not the fastest ever, but I mean, between Tychus and Cassia, I think they probably could have got it done.
Tychus clear is pretty fast. I think people don't realize. The Uther also has the Holy Fire.
Did he go Holy Fire? Yeah,
it looks like he did.
They're actually going to jump on it now, taking advantage of the
oh, that's right. They didn't
timing.
get their camp. Yeah, they didn't get their camp. Yeah, that's good calling there for.
Rebo moves forward with the Fend, is going to be taunted there by a huge slot. Tops is going to move in and start to spin away on that Sonya. It's a full commit here from Dark Allegiance. And ReGen Phoenix is going to get out. It's going to allow Imperious to push this bottom lane just a little bit before Sonya makes it back.
So I'm going to look at quests now. So Cassia did go for Q build here. She's at 8 right now. Not great. Uther's already at 17 on his Wave of Light. Lion Maw's at 6. Murden's doing pretty well with 7 stacks already.
Oh, Arrow with the big stab there onto huge slot, followed up by that Stormbolt. Tops moving on in here. They're trying to find the Varian kill. USA Mafia with enough healing is going to allow Varian to escape. So no shield wall yet. That means Varian is going to be a pretty juicy target before level 10.
I would not go shield wall here.
You go with the Juggernaut here?
Well, this is the thing is that the biggest form of the first of all, I always go Warbringer because I think that
the other one, the one that gives you the huge cooldown reduction on your E, is really
and you know makes you mobile. Yeah. There's very few circumstances where I actually go shield wall. So there's 2 things. One is their main source of damage is the Tychus, right? So I would think having the double parry would be actually.
I do agree with that. Reducing your parry by 1 into Tychus could be rough. Top's actually getting pushed out there by Tychus, able to move back and be healed up. USA Mafia doing a great job on the white main so far, keeping those Imperious spear targets nice and healthy. Mudge able to jump on out. Oh, Arrow almost splashed down by Tops there.
You know, I know Sonya it's a very
did go into the Shattered Ground,
but I think they just don't fight. In fact, I think like if you give them the Protector, that just gives Zul'Jin more stacks. As dumb as that sounds.
That's a common problem when you're against a Zul'Jin. Is like if we take the objective, It's just
And they have
big
Tychus. They
dumb
can just kill
robot
it.
moving
Like
around.
Tychus Murder is the protector.
They're gonna move up here. They're still looking for Varian. They find the dismount. Huge slot with the parry is going to stop there, but the follow-up stun. There's the Fend coming on through. Reposition onto Imperius. White Mane healing not quite enough, and Varian is going to fall. Much moving on forward, getting pushed back a lot there by the Li Ming.
Yeah, you see they're able to force these fights really hard, so Zul'jin doesn't really come into play as much.
Daribo and Mudge barely making it out of there. Got to be very careful for the resets. This Rabid Penguin trying to push back Voisin. Top steps on the point here. Can someone put a toe on? Zul'jin going to do it, so they're just going to go ahead and keep 1 foot in, 1 foot out here as Mudge finds the stun onto Zul'jin. And we are going to see our first protector.
Oh, okay. There's one strategy that I've seen. I saw one like a CCL team do, and I've decided that it's my favorite strategy. Is you just put the offlaner in it and go bottom, and that's it. And then everyone else shoves the other lane in.
It is, you know, there's a lot of competing protector strategies right now. Some teams are going to the top lane like this, doing it classic style. Some teams are putting everything straight to the bottom lane, investing into point C. I have seen those split strats where you don't load up 2 because you're afraid the enemy team's just going to dive you. So you just put in 1 and send them off to just sort of be a big turret.
Yeah, so like the one strategy I kind of liked was you just put your offlaner in and he goes bot. And so technically if it's one-on-one offlaner versus protector, the protector will shove it in. If they send more people to deal with it, then you send the other people to push the other lane in.
I did not expect the protector to be this
I haven't seen that one personally, but it makes sense.
It was like it was run in a CCL game, I think.
Varian
like
could be in trouble here. Being healed up by White Mane. USA Mafia doing a ton of damage, but is it going to be enough? Huge slot. Trying to get away here. The Stormbolt not going to be coming in. Look at the healing coming on through. Sonya actually taken out in the bottom lane. Tychus killed. There goes Muradin. The reset's coming on through. D-shield on Cassia is going to expire. Cassia will fall. So an off-lane kill from Imperius, but Dark Allegiance picking up the triple.
That's that double parry, I think. Like they're having a hard time, I think, securing a kill on a Varian right now. Because, yep,
Actually,
see the Warbringer.
There's actually just picked it up. Still has the baseline double parry. Had it for that fight. But will continue to have it.
This gives them a lot more mobility too, to actually like get out of these scenarios.
Yeah. 8-second cooldown reduction on charge. That's a huge, huge deal.
Go for the Mortal Strike or the Juggernaut. So the Juggernaut, which just means every 4 seconds you do a bunch of damage, but the Mortal Strike, I probably wouldn't go Mortal Strike into an Uther because most of his healing is based on armor
based, right?
Yeah.
But having the percent could definitely do some work into Muradin.
Oh yeah. Oh, to be fair, no. I was gonna say Muradin. What did he go for? Oh, he didn't go for the double. Okay, so I don't think he's going
here. Varian looking for a taunt onto anyone but Muradin, but there's Mudge trying to get away with the Avatar. Taunt follows up onto Tychus. Rabid Penguin is slowed down, and that is going to be it. Dark Allegiance is really starting to come online here. They've got a camp in the top lane. They're going to stick around and siege. They're just going to keep on hunting. Mudge going to be slowed down there. Still has the leap. Arrow. Arrow may have overcommitted. There's the taunt from Varian. Imperius is going to be able to get away here, and Dark Allegiance is actually going for a siege camp steal. As Daribo is pushing back. Tops maybe a little bit separated out. Arrow pops the shield. Going to be saved by Uther. Taz Dingo used by Zul'jin, and Daribo still fighting with Tops over this point. ReGen Phoenix manages to take it back. Arrow with the double stun. Tops trying to get away as Mudge re-enters the fray, but going to get hit by a huge orb from Li Ming. Somehow no one went down.
They got the camp though. Wait,
ReGen Phoenix picked up the camp.
Okay, so I think overall that was probably a win for them.
Stun follow up there, stun follow up. White Mane's healing is out of control here. USA Mafia is going to have to go back and get some mana though.
So what did he go for a 13? Mortal Strike, okay.
Okay, so still going for the Mortal Strike.
It's good. It's good to the Imperius, I will say.
That's true. Imperius has a lot more.
Although shields are good into Imperius too.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Huge slot. Going to be chased once again here. Varian. Oh, there's the Valkyrie, just to be sure.
Good catch out by ReGen Phoenix over there.
Very nicely done. It's going to mean a little bit of siege here in the top lane, but Li Ming going to go ahead and clear that away.
And ReGen Phoenix does not shying away from the aggression, so I think that's kind of the mentality you have to have when you kind of run some comp like that. And I actually figured that it might be the Valkyrie. So what I was thinking actually was like, the Meridian could jump in, get the stun, you Valkyrie that target back to your team, and then Tychus kills.
Tychus did go with the spray and pray on 13, so that's usually an indication that he's going to go with the slow on 16, which will further help out those Valkyries for hitting with that extended slow on retreat. That's a pretty good stack coming in here. As Huge Slot once again, maybe a little bit out of position. Moves on to the point here. Varian waiting for the rest of the team. Oh no, maybe a little miscommunication there as Varian goes down. Top's trying to flank as well, but Sonya being chased down. Pulled into the back line is Zul'jin. Has to pop that Taz Dingo. Sonya's going to get away. Let's see if anyone else falls. Varian just a small step ahead there, but going down. Nice reactions from ReGen Phoenix. We're going to see a little bit of pressure here in the top lane.
Zul'jin is at 27 right now. Not nearly as much as he was at this level.
He was at 27 at like 3 minutes last
3 minutes into the game. Yeah, it was pretty insane. So I think just these faster engages kind of are, these harder engages are kind of, like I said, they give a lot less value to Zul'jin.
Yeah, Zul'jin wants those long fights. This hasn't been the way so far. As we see the Protector, got to be careful. I mean, it's you think, yeah, you got half health here. It doesn't matter if you have a minion wave, but all of a sudden that Protector starts to fall, and you realize you're a long way from home. So you got to really. Yeah,
I can't tell you how many times I've played in a Stormley game where the guys in the Protector are like, oh yeah, I'm so safe right now, I'm in a Protector, and then they just like die, and then people in the die
because you realize like, oh, we're just like here. we got places to be, and then you're just a whole freaking map away from your own gate.
So this is the Bronzebeard Rage. I just noticed that. And yeah, you were right. The Sonya just went for the toughest nails at level 1, but like most of W build.
Huge slot moving up here is there's a nice unstoppable white mane with the cleanse, gonna save Varian this time. Evening up at level 16. Tychus is going for the slow on that overkill. It's actually going to be the Beacon of Light for Uther, so no Benediction, instead going with the 100% bonus self-healing, while targeting others with Holy Light.
I don't see that very much.
So not as interested. Vulnerable going to come on out. Valkyrie not connecting as Rabid Penguin got to be careful here. Arrow looking for some swords. Not going to land. Huge slot with the charge onto Imperius. ReGen Phoenix is going to get away here. But yeah, not going with the double cast. I mean, you usually see the Benediction into the double stun, which could be, some value, but there's still a lot of stuns on the team, so maybe they figured the extra healing on self as Imperius actually going to be taken out here. Rabid Penguin going to be next. The resets for Voisin coming on through. And even with the healing camp, ReGen Phoenix loses 2. Huge slot looking for Cassia. Nice unstoppable. Oh, Daribo going back in is going to get taunted. That could be trouble here. Nice stun from Mudge, going to prevent the follow-up onto Daribo. One thing I just noticed, another thing we don't get to see a lot is the Protect on Fend from Cassia to try to deny some of that Li Ming burst.
That's instead of the movement speed. That's interesting. I don't really, maybe my opinion here, I don't really like the Protect on that.
It's pretty tough to use because you have to find an enemy target to move into. So it's got to be a pretty particular spot here. I think it could get some value because it's a Varian Li Ming. When you see Varian coming at you, you just charge into him and hope the Protect lasts long enough to block those Li Ming shots.
The other argument you can make is that the movement speed would probably just put him in a position where he wasn't that close enough to get hit by it.
Yeah.
But
just you have the War Traveler. Uh-oh, Mudge caught in the taunt there. The Divine Shield save is good, though. Arrow trying to turn it around with that Angelic Armaments. Huge slot in some trouble. Moves back. Going to be healed up by Whitemane, and Imperius is going to go down. USA Mafia putting on a clinic with Whitemane right now. As Derivo gets slowed, Cassia goes down. Arya in trouble. That's going to be a triple kill for Dark Allegiance. And every time ReGen Phoenix tries to go in here, Whitemane's coming through with the saves.
Yeah, they also had turret and heal support, like support camp. I think
there was a heal camp in the back there.
So they should have. I actually think it would have been really good if they had just like baited both of them and then just backed up immediately. Would have been a pretty good move, but I think fighting a little there too long.
Managing to get away there as the push in the mid continues. Whitemane going to hold the point for now, channeling Protector C. And this mid keep looks like it's not going to be long for this world as Zildjian is locked on. And that's going to be the first keep of the game going over to Dark Allegiance. Level 20s as well. This is a tough spot for ReGen Phoenix. But the way this map rolls, they're not exactly out of it yet. We'll have to see if they can put up the defense here.
I think the problem right now is that because they lost that keep, there's a win con, even with the crappy Protector.
It is possible. I don't know. I don't see them going straight through mid here. Looks like they are going to just go ahead and push bottom lane. But if a team fight goes their way, Dark Allegiance could definitely just run it through mid. Well,
yeah, I mean, like any other...
Come on up here. Interesting.
I would 100% do this. Although the only issue that I kind of have is they don't have any.
Look at the turnaround. Arrow finds the stun onto Falorami. Zildjian trying to get away, has to pop the unstoppable. Mudge is getting completely melted. Murden goes down. Derivo trying to get away is going to fall as well. That's 2 kills, and the Protector's still very, very healthy with 55 seconds. Imperius goes down in the back line, and I think this is Dark Allegiance going to the core. What a play.
Yep. There's a lot of healing by Whitemane right there.
So ReGen Phoenix gambling there, diving past the Protector. But once again, Whitemane comes up big. There goes Uther. Here goes the core. Dark Allegiance with the 2-1. GG.
GG. Yeah, so it was just a battle.
Yeah, it was a tough choice between the big Odin and the armor on the Q, right, for the Tychus. But I figure out the fight was really long, and I needed extra armor and the cooldown reduction on my Q.
Yeah, we saw that pick, and we were figuring it must have been a reaction to what we were seeing there, because we see the big red button so often. But I thought it was a pretty cool adjustment to see there.
Yeah, it's way better for the siege damage and stuff. It does not add that much to the team fight itself, right? It's just the augmentation on the duration, but the team fight potential, the big nuke is pointless, right?
Yeah. All right, yeah, but picking up a good win there, moving into Brax's holdout. We saw
I had one question.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
You go for the Gyros and you go for the Uther Tychus. Was that like leading into the Hagar by denying like the counter picks to him?
Those are all the follow-ups, basically.
Yeah, the follow-ups and to deny the Uther pick, because we know their healer play a lot of Uther.
Yeah, and we saw it a lot after.
Yeah, well, just having those 3 characters, that kind of allows us to just rotate and ganks, like, make huge gank. We could leave tasks behind, like soaking a lane, and we could just go 3-man, like, trying to make ganks. It's just that we kind of fell a bit behind, so we were having troubles just trying to pick up kills, but usually, with that combo of 3 characters, you can pretty much pick up anyone.
Okay.
Yeah, just go bigger they are. Don't go with the quest like I did. It was a poor choice.
Yeah, sometimes it's a tough choice there on 4, but the bigger they are is just so good at shredding. Really, really good.
Just have to make sure you have someone that kills them after.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, with the nade, like after the big percentage out, like it usually pick up skills like quite like fairly easily. But then again, yeah, usually you need someone like Tass to like burst the target down.
Yeah, just to get that last little bit of damage that Tychus is shredding through to the 30%. Makes sense, yeah.
And we picked Togger because it's pretty good on that map since you can spin for the objective. So that's pretty good. And you can generate rage as well. So that's what's the idea behind this. And also sometimes I have to double soak when the guy's making a camp or a play or something. So that was pretty much our draft.
Okay. Yeah, solid stuff. Picking up the win there in game number 1. We saw Braxis hold out game number 2, a very particular style with the heavy push. The main thing that I saw in the draft was a lot of you seemed to change your roles around a little bit to make those picks work. Is that something that was practiced ahead of time, or was that a little bit more of a maybe we can pull this off sort of draft?
No, it was practiced a lot. But Descartes is not the pick on this team. Normally is Lucio because we really need a lot of sustain eating and his movement speed bonus.
Yeah.
But we know they were going double healer, so I took Descartes to nerf the healing a little bit with Emerald.
Yeah, we tried to adjust the draft, so like Jackie said, for the Emerald, so we can actually nerf the healing on the other side. But Lucio is like still a key piece in that team comp because he provides movement speed as well for Azalia, which is
Lucio provide a good front line also, because he's just too fast and have a big kit to face the enemy, and Descartes didn't have. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just that with Lucio and Auriel, you can basically push back anybody that tries to go in. So Sonya was not an issue, was not supposed to be an issue anymore, but then again, yeah.
Okay.
Lucio is a really strong double support actually because of his high utility.
Okay, yeah, so that makes... I understand the push towards Deckard instead with that Emerald. That definitely makes a lot of sense to try to make sure that you could, have a little bit more, like have the ways to move through and get those kills in the team fights. And the push was looking really, really good there through most of the game. Was really just a couple of key moments that ReGen Phoenix was able to jump on. Did you see when it came down to the draft, they took a lot of push power between the Sylvanas, the Artanis, and the Sonya. With that, were you worried about them just counter pushing you, or what were the things you were looking out for when it came to making sure that you were okay?
We were not very looking at their pushing power because the 4-man we set up, it's a kind of broken meta, and we can fight all these and push and put pressure all these because every damage they have are mitigate on healing from Lucio normally / Descartes, and Auriel and Zarya can prevent burst damage, so they cannot really take our damage, their damage on our structure.
The only thing that we worried about was the Sylvanas and the Sonya pushing top. So they should have split, in my opinion, 2-3. Send Artanis and the 2 healer bot. So Artanis with the shield at low health, never die, with the 2 healer. So they just try to mitigate as much as possible the Foreman bot and hard push with the Sylvanas and Sonya combo. We were lucky that they didn't do that. And also with Rag, it's kind of difficult to push because of the passive and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any questions there about game 2, Random?
Did you use the Ragnaros to kind of just stall the game out a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
Totally.
Okay, I figured.
I even like if you noticed at the first Zerg wave, I kind of let one of the siege minions from the Zerg wave like alive for a very long time, just so the objective doesn't spawn as soon as it should have, so that bot lane could keep pushing nonstop.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And Zul'jin stacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't have any.
Yeah, we kind of tried to drag that game as long as possible, but yeah.
Yeah, we have an hybrid carry. Then you have Zarya and Oriel. We have infinite healing and push power, I would say. So that's basically.
Yeah, the thing is that, like, personally, I wasn't really scared of Sylvanas because, they can push with Sylvanas, but the thing is that they need to be like in front of our buildings to do that. Like they need to be pushing us, and that team is like the whole point of that team comp is to push them back. So Sylvanas, I don't think she was really a threat because she could not really reach the buildings. So
okay.
And we switched roles in that case because actually Oriel is one of my main character, and that's why I play her in that comp. So sometimes we switch. We send someone else.
It's mainly because our tank didn't play Zarya, Oriel, or Lucio. So he's swapping for the solo lane, and we are on the 4-man swapping roles to play that. Because Oriel is also one of my main, but Tops didn't play any other healer, so I let him go Oriel, and I'm taking the Lucio.
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it would look pretty good. It didn't quite go in your favor there, but it was pretty close right down to the end.
We did a few bad calls and a few mistake the last fight. So
I thought of one more comment for the game before is that there was almost 40 kills on that Infernal Shrine game. By the way, I don't know if you guys were looking.
What?
Yeah. I was dying a lot as Arya because I'm used to Lucio and not Kayn, and I could not reach any potion. So I was.
No, this was the first game.
Oh,
on Infernal Shrines.
Infernal Shrines was the first one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's true. Actually,
it was like 21-19 or something.
It was something. We were both commenting how we don't think we've seen so many kills on Infernal before.
It was 21-20.
Died twice, you know.
in game two on Braxis, what it cost a lot for us, it's because there were three deaths, and we tried the core, but when we saw we cannot do the core, we split with the boss call, but it was too late, so they came to the boss, and we were too low. We should let the cord up and just go straight up boss. But yeah,
we could have played that a lot better. Like honestly, as soon as Zarya died, the push on core was kind of over for us. Sylvanas ditched out a lot of damage, like in a burst, so that kind of scared us. We were kind of forced to back, and then we went for the boss. We could have taken it if I went ahead, like toward their base sooner to dismount them to slow them. But then again, it was a clutch call. Honestly, maybe not the best one, but that was kind of like a 50-50 call, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough call to make there. It looked like it was a possible core play, but then Sylvanas just whipped out a ton of damage out of nowhere and forced you back.
The thing is, I was no mana with the card since we dropped down the fort. So after that, the core push was kind of pretty risky.
Yeah, that makes sense. Almost picked it up there, but you move into game 3, Volskaya Foundry, you get your Zul'jin back. I think the biggest thing that made an impression on me that game was the white main healing. Just most every time we saw ReGen Phoenix move on and try to kill Varian, it was just infinite health coming on through from the white main. Were you expecting to be able to move up and get the damage in for those saves as effectively as you did, or is that, what were those fights like?
I was. White main is one of my main, I think, one of my best healer, and I'm pretty comfortable on her. Yeah. So yeah, it was kind of something we know it.
Okay.
To be fair, like as Varian, I don't play this guy a lot, honestly, it was like I've played him like maybe 25 games in my whole life. But anyway, I really trust my healer, especially when he's on white main. Most of the time, I was telling them on Discord, it was like I'm okay, keep going, even when I was really low on health, because I know what he can put out, and he does put that out. So that's really good on his part. Honestly, he's a really good healer on white main.
And in every single fight, Muradin tried to jump on me and stun me, and I always step out of his stun, and I just start to pull my ult and just. It was kind of easy because they were pretty a lot engaging and fighter melee, so my healing was kind of infinite. It was not a problem.
Looked really, really good there. Speaking of the variant, Random and I were talking a little bit about the level 10 choice for variant, what you could get out of Shield Wall, what you could get out of Warbringer. What was in that? What was in your head for that choice in terms of going with the Warbringer, going with that cooldown reduction?
I knew I would be like low health most of the game in fights because they had Tychus and Cassia. Most of the time, Tychus just dropped me down to like 25-30% of my health, and Cassia would go in and try to poke me, kill me, like basically take the kill. The thing is that I wanted to have double the duration on the auto attack dodge and a way to get out of fights. I even died top because I tried to dash on a minion for some reason. But anyway, so there's that. I know my healer is good, like I said, but then again, I knew I would have to dash out from time to time.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much what we figured there. Any other questions about the game 3 there, Random?
I'm always Warbringer pretty much, but that's just my opinion. But I think it definitely made more sense in that game.
All right, well, picking up the 2-1 versus ReGen Phoenix. The playoff hopes are, I mean, I'm taking a look. They're still alive. There's a little bit of work left to be done for the rest of the season, but picking up the 2 points versus the 8th seed here does help a lot. Are you looking at the remainder of your schedule? You feeling like you've got a chance to push through for the 8th seed?
Yeah. Yeah, it will be helpful to have a real 5-man player because we are still looking for a new DPS, and our DPS for tonight is a tryout. So yeah, when we got our 5-man lock in, I think we really be more powerful than now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We still have a few good matchups, a few hard matchups, I would say. I mean, Baby on board at 4 and Beef Boys, we haven't played them yet, so we should.
Yeah, we have 2 flex game to play on the.
So we're gonna still practice and review our games and try to improve until then. So we can.
We
won the Storm League.
Yeah, no, but truth be told, it's our first time in this division, so we're kind of like learning it the hard way. So I think we have a chance, but there's still work to be done.
Well, there's definitely a chance. You've got a way to move forward, and possibly good luck to you for sure in your push there. And I hope you're able to solidify that team in the last couple of weeks here because you're looking pretty good tonight.
Yeah.
The hell of going to the series, guys.
Yeah.
Stop being like that. We are going to the series. Go.
Fantastic. Well, the floor is yours. Any shout-outs you'd like to make before we close things down here?
There's too many teams with Phoenix in their name.
You should, guy. NGS should just put a division name Phoenix and put all the teams name it Phoenix.
I was thinking of Phoenix Rising, but that was a ReGen team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ReGen Phoenix.
Okay.
We have Zentide and Diamond too.
Shout out to you both. Thanks for the casting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The interview.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Thanks a lot.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
All right. Well, Dark Allegiance, congratulations once again on the 2-1, and good luck with your push for the playoffs.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye-bye.